Hello there, loyal internet. My name is Don Anonymous, aka Stealth Mongoose, aka Donald Miguel Thomas, aka 1989 was born. I could go on. And I'm here to create my first ever video response to anyone in the YouTube community of any sort of importance whatsoever, AlphaOmegaSin. This is a response to his video about Westboro Baptist Church's overreaction to the Homosexual Gaming Convention. Now, I'm not sure about all of the details here. Alpha himself only went over it a bit, but I've got to sort of go over this a bit because of two reasons. Number one, Alpha usually only makes videos about video games, and along the path of those videos you might get a few provocative topics about the sales or DLC or the way the company is treating gamers, or at the most maybe an issue regarding the inclusion of homosexual characters in a particular video game, Mass Effect 3 for example. However, in this particular instance, you have a very odd deviation. You see, you have Alpha actually addressing the actions of one group, Westboro Baptist Church, and their unnecessary picketing of the homosexual gamers in their convention. Now, I think this topic is very interesting for a number of reasons, but I'll outline the ones that I think are most important here. The first being that it's an issue that has to do with freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, the ability to talk to each other without calling the cops, whatever you want to call it. And I think that it's very important that these groups come together and talk about what they need to talk about. Now, Westboro, for example, likes to talk about things a certain way. They like to purchase plane tickets to travel halfway across the country to picket a veteran's funeral simply because that veteran is being buried with the American flag, and they may or may not have had a preference for men over women in the sexual department. Excuse me. Now, that's their mode of speech, and that's not respectable. It's not right. It's not even, in most cases, tolerable. But there's something that I disagree with you on your video when it comes to this. They have their right to say what they want, and so do their opposition. And while you say that after they get done picketing, they should cease scrutinizing and questioning and opposing the beliefs and creeds of the group that they're picketing, I have to say that if the tables were turned, that would be a bad idea. We don't want people to shut up. We don't want them to feel like as though their word isn't important, even if it's not. We want to make sure that Westboro Baptist Church and the homosexual convention have their equal opportunities to get their ideas out there, because of a very important thing: contrast. You see, Westboro Baptist Church is batshit fucking insane. But if we only hear their view, that's going to be the only view out there. And while most of us do have an idea of what batshit insane looks like, and what it acts like, and in some cases what it sounds like, it does help to have a sane perspective there. In this case, the homosexual conventioners. You see, if we only heard their side of the story, we'd have a sane perspective, but we wouldn't have the comparison necessary to see what's wrong. So what I'm essentially saying is that Westboro should be allowed to talk for a bit. Not to the point of, exchanging blows, shooting people, and overall infringing on other people's rights, but they should have the chance to get their batshit crazy ideas out there so that the sane people can counteract them. And with the opposing viewpoints, it's left to a pretty much obvious vote who's right. And that's one thing I wanted to hit upon on your video, is that you seem to have the idea that, well, maybe you don't have this idea, but that one of these groups of people gets to talk and the other one doesn't. But that's, it's not the case. We have to have these opposing viewpoints, even if they don't make sense. Now, when you talk about them scrutinizing their beliefs, I also wanted to hit upon another point you made, in that the scrutinizing of their beliefs is wrong. But at the same time, I also want to make the organic distinction, because homosexuality isn't a belief. It's not as nebulous as, like, what's my favorite flavor ice cream, or who's my favorite superhero, or what omnipresent, omnipotent God thing do I like to pray to at night. It's more of what my body tells me I should do. And because of that, although they do have the right to speak to each other on these issues, I think homosexuality sort of has the upper hand here, in a good way, because unlike defending a nebulous point of belief, homosexuality is a position that can be defensible from its very nature. There's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing about it that affects the Westboro Baptist Church directly, and as such, it is something that can be discussed without oppression. I just wanted to point those two very important things out that I thought were very important in my first video response to you, Alpha, and also let you know that your videos are quite expertly done. I hope to hear more from you, and while I like this format, hitting upon a very critical topic in relevance to gaming, I do like your original format in that you hit on the critical point being the gaming aspect, and then you deviate with some socio-political important topics that might pop up later because of it. Now, I just want to say thanks for reading this response, or sorry, viewing this response. You see, it is my first time responding, and you're not exactly an inspiration, man, but when I do watch your videos, you give me this sense that I'm not alone in my willingness to be a gamer, to collect things that people would find frivolous, or to indulge in fiction and analyze it for what it is and find the beauty in it. And that's what I love about your videos, man. You may be very layman about it, but you definitely have some sort of soul in there. Something that has to do with the actual idea of gaming and the creation behind it, and this whole, I guess you could call it a culture. It's like you have, it's like the gaming spirit. You know that there's certain things in the world that are right and wrong, and they're all right because they appeal to a certain sense of morality. And I'm not ashamed to say it, man. I got a lot of my morals from games. I got a lot of my morals from fiction. And I appreciate knowing someone else who's sort of had that kind of an experience. So before this video gets too long, man, Don Anonymous, man, saying hey for the first time, and you do some badass work. Hope to see more. Peace.